Hello friends, Jai Shri Ram. Today we are going to see how will you create a storyboard for your project. Okay, and it is going to be a very longish video and I'm not going to leave any step. So I will start right from creation of the project to creation of the backlog to estimating your backlog items to creating a sprint, starting that sprint, and then populating your this storyboard, and then configuring that storyboard. So it can be a longish video. So if it is that long and if you just want to jump to a particular topic, then feel free to go to the video description. There you will see the index. In the index I have given all the topics that I have discussed in this video. Whichever is the topic of your interest, there is a timestamp given ahead of it. So just click on that timestamp and you will move to that time in the video where I am discussing that particular topic. Okay, so let's get started. Let me first create a project. See, till now I have only created an Atlassian account and a JIRA account. Okay, so how to do that? See my first video in this series to know how to create Atlassian account and JIRA account. Okay, now I haven't created any project yet, so let me create a project. Let this be let me say a Scrum project, and I'm using this template. Now I can either create a team managed project or a company managed project. Team managed project, see, the basic difference between these two is that team managed is simpler. Okay, so on the storyboard I'll be seeing stories and I can move the stories from to do to in progress, from in progress to done, but I won't be able to see the subtask on my storyboard. Okay, so it is a very simple thing, simple template, that is team managed template. So if you want a team managed project, then you can go for the first option. But if you want to see the subtask also on the storyboard, if you want to see more options, if you want to go to configuration, configure board, and configure board should have many options, then you go for company managed project. Okay, so I'm choosing company managed for this video, and let me just create this project. Now over here, if you see, it has active sprints. This won't be there if this is not a company managed project. If it's a team managed project, you won't see this active sprint only. Now over here, see, even a lot of other things are also not there, like reports is not there, issues, components, all these things are not there if it is a team managed project. And also if you go to board settings, then you see a lot of options. You see swim lanes over here. You can say, okay, stories should be the swim lanes. So all the subtasks will be appearing under it and all. So all these options are not there in a team managed project. I'll create a team managed project also, just to give an example. So I'll create another project. I'll select everything the same. I'm just calling it a team managed project. I'll just call it as proj2 and let this be proj2. Okay, access level anything, yeah, don't worry about it. Now there is a team managed project, so here you won't see here you are only seeing these three options. You are not seeing that active sprints. Then in this board also, you are seeing configure board. See, the options are very simple. These are all the options that you have. Okay, they are very simple, kind of rudimentary. Okay, so you won't use many things in this case. Okay, so proj2 is really simple, it is team managed, and proj1 is a little deeper, which is called as company managed. Okay, so the type of your project should be company managed if you want active sprints and everything. Now in the company managed, that means a deeper one, let me create the backlog. So I'll first go to the backlog. Let me just create some epic. Okay, this is what this is, and there's a story. Okay, fine. I can create, see, ideally I should be creating some backlog like this. So epic 1 will be having capability 1, 2, 3. In capability 1 there can be feature 1, feature 2. Inside every feature there can be 1 or 2 stories, and then I can estimate all of them. Okay, so how will you create this backlog? It's very simple. You just go to create, you create either an epic or a story, or you can also create feature and capability. So for creating feature and capability, you will have to go to your project settings, then your issue type, okay, and over here you will be creating another issue type. So what you'll do is you will be creating another issue type over here. So you can do that, and then you can create those backlog items. I'll leave it to you. As of now, for the sake of this demonstration, I will just create some stories, okay? But you should be creating epics, then inside epics there should be capabilities, inside capabilities there should be features, inside features there should be stories, okay? So you can create this kind of a backlog if you want for epic 1 and for epic 2. Feel free to do that. As of now, I'm just creating some backlog items. I'm just creating some stories. I'll just be calling them as story 1. Let us say that this has where is story point is not given here. Oh my god. Okay, at least story points I will mention. Story points is not given by default. Okay, fine. I at least need some story points, huh? So I'll just go to the issue type, and I'll go to the story, and I'll just say that at least it should have one field. Oh no, not that, fields. So here if you notice, in the last video I showed you how to edit fields in an issue type, but it was a team managed project. So in a company managed project you can also create tabs. Altogether you can say estimation tab, and in this tab you can add certain fields like let's say original estimate, or story points, okay? You can create another tab if you want, okay? Otherwise you can also move it to the other tab. That is also possible. So I've just moved it to this tab, and I'm moving it just after the summary, okay? And this estimation tab is now blank. I can just delete it if I want, okay? So now this is done. Let me just go back to my project. Now if I just create a story, it will show me how many story points it has. So I'll say story 1, let us say it is a 2-pointer story. I can just check this one also, so that when I say create, it will once again blank, make this view blank, and I can create another story right away, so that I don't have to click on that create button again and again, okay? So I'm creating another story, that is story number 2, and let us say it is a 5-pointer. Then I'll also create story number 3, and let this be an 8-pointer. Then I'll create story number 4, and let us say it's a 3-pointer. And then I'll create story number 5, 3-pointer, and story number 6, let us call it 1-pointer. Okay, so I've created these come on man, what is it? So I've created all these backlog items. Now if I want to view those issues, I can view them as well. And see, this is called a JQL, that is JIRA query language. So it is much like SQL. So issue key means what? This is my issue key. See, I'll tell you what. This is the story that we created now. So this is the issue key that you see in the URL, or this is the issue key, okay? So although the name of the story is story 1, actually it is proj1-6. So it is the 6th backlog item that we have created. So this is the issue key. So it is saying that issue key in means issue key is one of these, okay? So then show it. So these all came as a result of this query. Okay, anyways, leave it. So what I'm telling you is your backlog is now showing these, okay? Now let me create a sprint. So when I'll create a sprint, okay, this sprint has created. I'll edit it and I'll just call it something like PI1 or program increment 1. Inside that, this is iteration 1. Let us say that it is of 2 weeks as usual. Safe suggests that every iteration should be of 2 weeks, and there should be 4 dev iterations and then 1 IP iteration, and then that will be your program increment. So let us say that it starts from tomorrow, because today it is already 11 p.m. Okay, so I'm saying that let it start tomorrow at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Well, let us say it starts at this time. So after 2 weeks it will end. So on 10th of January it will end at 11 a.m. again. Okay, if you still want to edit the time, maybe you'll say, oh, it should end 1 hour early, I'll end it at 10 a.m. Okay, fine, be my guest, do it. JIRA allows you to do a lot of things. Okay, so that your next iteration starts at 11 a.m. again. Okay, so whatever you want to do, you can do it. Then sprint goal, of course you can mention your sprint objectives over here. By sprint I mean, see, JIRA calls it sprint. In SAFe we normally call it as iteration. So these are your iteration objectives. Okay, you can mention them over here. Okay, so this is your sprint. Once your sprint is there, you can always move the items from backlog to sprint. Okay, so I can move them, okay, whichever items I want. I have emptied the entire backlog, but normally backlog has so many items, out of which you only pick a few of them into one sprint. You can also create another sprint. Once again, you can move some items into the next sprint as well, then in the next sprint as well. This way you can do it. But at the moment I'll give you a simple example with one sprint. Okay, now this sprint has not started yet. Okay, so when you start the sprint, then it will start appearing in the active sprint. Here at the moment no sprint is active, and that is why you won't see anything. Okay, so now I'm starting the sprint. Okay, I am starting it right away. It is saying that, you're starting one day early. I said, okay, fine, I am the Scrum Master, I can do whatever I like. So you can start it whenever you like. As soon as you start it, you start seeing these items in the active sprint. Now you will notice that in the backlog as well as in the active sprint, you see the story points over here. Also you see these three headers. So the first header says that not started. So how many story points of work is not started yet? 22 points I haven't started only. As and when you move your stories to in progress, then this header will start showing that there are, let us say, 8 pointer story. If you move to in progress, then 8 points will start appearing over here in the second header, that is in progress story items, story points. And if you move some stories to done, then the addition of their story points will be shown over here in done header. At the moment, what I'm not seeing is, I'm not seeing the subtask because I never created subtasks. So I'll go to every story and I'll just create the subtask so that you get an idea. So I'll go to this story. So copy the issue link and just open that issue. Okay, this is the story. Now let me create some subtasks in it. So I will create subtasks and I'll just create subtask 1, and similarly subtask 2, subtask 2, and subtask 3, subtask 4, subtask 5. Okay, so let us say there are these 5 subtasks. Now I'll go to every subtask and I'll give some time into it. Okay, so time is not given over here. So you will have to configure this subtask, means this issue type subtask. So you can go to project settings, issue type, go to your subtask and then add some field to it. Otherwise you can directly click on this configure. So when you click on configure, you see, okay, which fields do you want to add. So I will just say I want original estimate. So it should always be visible. It is hide when empty. So always be visible, and that's it. I don't want story points. Subtask should not have story points, right? So, but it should have original estimate. Okay, this is fine. It is done, saved. I'll go back to that subtask. Now I'm seeing that original estimate is there. So this subtask can be of, let us say, 1 day. Okay. The other subtask can be, okay, let me refresh it so that I start seeing that field. The other subtask can be of half a day. So I'll say 0.5 day. So one day is of 8 hours, so half a day is of 4 hours. Okay, then the other one, once again I'll have to refresh. So this one, suppose it is of 2 hours only, and this one is of 30 minutes only. It's just a code review task, let us say. So it's of 30 minutes. You cannot give space. And this one could be of let's say 3 hours. Okay, now I've given hours into these subtasks. Now let us see my storyboard. This is my storyboard. Now it is showing all the subtasks as well. So it is showing subtasks only for one story. All the other stories are being mentioned in other issues. So as and when you start creating subtasks into them, they'll also start appearing like this. So this is called as a swim lane. That means the lane that you can minimize and maximize. So that is called as a swim lane. So by default, story is your swim lane. So you can always expand a story and collapse a story. Okay, and when you expand the story, you see the subtasks inside it. So in the DSU, you can ask people that, okay, which task are you working upon? Okay, so let us say some person is working on this subtask, then he'll be saying, okay, I worked on this subtask. Okay, or probably they should be moving those subtasks ahead of this DSU, and they should just be saying this, I worked on so and so subtask, and today I'm going to work on so and so subtask, and that is already moved to it in progress. Okay, so that is how your DSU should be run. Now there is one more thing that is not showing up, and that is how much time is remaining in these subtasks. Okay, or who is the subtask assigned to, who is the story assigned to. So I'll do one thing. I haven't assigned the story as well as the subtask to anyone. So what I'll do is I'll go to this this one. So I'll go to this story and I will assign it to somebody. So let me assign it to myself because I have only one user at the moment. Let me create a couple of users also. That is also a problem. So let me go to project settings, let me go to people, and let me create a couple of people now. I'm adding people. I'm saying this is person1 @gmail.com. Not administrator as such, but I don't have any roles as well. I should have created roles first, but okay, let him be an admin. I should be creating a couple of more persons, so like person2, again an admin, person3, again an admin. Now let me just refresh it so that I see these 3 people. Person1, person2, what is happening, man? Person3, where is he? It's appearing now. Okay, so see, these are the 3 persons. So I'll go to my story and I'll assign it to, let us say, person1. Okay, and let's say that he is the team lead. Okay, then I'll assign the subtask to, let us say, person2, person3. So I'll assign 2 subtasks to person2 and 3 subtasks to person3. Oh, this was the code review task, right? So I'll assign it to person1 only, and once again this is what, person3 again. Okay, now if you go to this, you will see that person2, person3, person1, and they are all color coded. So these 2 are person2's tasks, person3's tasks. This is person1's task, and these 2 are person2's tasks. Okay, so that is what you're seeing. And again, this story is assigned to person number 1. Okay, so this is how it is. So you see this also. Then let us say that in the DSU you want to filter as per the tasks of person 1. So as per the user, if you want to filter everything, so that is also possible. So like I want to create a quick filter for person 1, 2, 3. How will I do that? I'll go to board settings. I'll go to quick filter, and here only my issues, recent updates. Okay, these are the quick filters that you already see. So I'll go back to the board and show it to you. These are the filters that you already see. Okay, you can directly go to people from here as well. Okay, so this is how you can. These are quick filter. This is a quick filter only person wise. But if you still want to create an explicit filter, then you can always go to board settings and you can create a quick filter, and you can name it something like, okay, person 1 and okay, person 1, and let us create a JQL, that is JIRA query language. So that is what assignee is equal to person 1. Okay, so now it is taking the person 1's ID. What is that? I'll tell you. If you go to this person has some ID given to it. So that ID is being taken by the JQL. Okay, so this is fine. If I want to add a description, add it. Otherwise, keep it blank. Okay, so there's the filter. Now, if you go back to the board, you see this filter. So these are quick filters. So when I say person 1, then only those subtasks will come which are assigned to person number 1. So this way you can create quick filters for all the people in your team, and then you can keep saying that, okay, if person 1 is giving his status to the team or discussing about his work, then you can always filter as per that person, so that you don't see the entire board and you can focus upon the right stories. So there are 3 stories having subtasks assigned to that person, so you can only talk about those 3 stories, right? This is how you create the quick filters as well. So mostly out of the box, this storyboard is really good as they are giving it. Okay, you don't have to modify much into this. This is very, very simple. They are already they are already saying that the swim lanes are stories. So stories you can expand and collapse. So inside that there will be subtasks and everything. So ideally it should work like this as well. But if you still want to do something extra, then there are a lot of other things that you can do. For example, here you see that this is the query being fired. That what is the query? So how many items will come on this board? It is decided by a JQL query, that is JIRA query language query, and that query is given right over here, that is filter. So if you go to this filter, this is the name of the filter, and if you want to edit the query of that filter, then just click on this link. So you will see that this is the query. So what is the query? Query says that, okay, project should be this, all the issue types are okay, everything is okay, fine. If you want to modify this query, if you want to say that all the issue types are not good, I just want bugs and stories and subtasks, that's all that should come. Okay, so I want only these things. So I'll say, okay, fine, then search it, and then I can save this filter. Okay, now once it is saved, now if I go back to my board, then look at how my board looks. Now it is not showing the subtasks. Why? Because I haven't chosen the subtasks in this filter. I've just said, see, it should be bug or story. I don't know what is subtask, man. What are you talking about? If I say subtask also, then I'll have to save it. Means first search it, then save it. Now if you see on the board, then your subtasks are also being shown. Okay, so this is how you basically update that query. Now if you want to create your own story, then query, then also you can do it. Besides, creating a query like this using drop down is an easy way of doing it. If you want a more complicated way of doing it, then switch to JQL, that is JIRA query language. So this is the advanced search. So when you switch to it, the same query looks like this, that project is proj1 and issue type should be in bug, story or subtask. Ask me, this is easier actually, but people call it the complicated thing or advanced thing. Actually, this is way easier to understand. But if you are more comfortable with the basic view, then you can always switch back to basic. Okay, so this is how you create or update a query. Now, I can create my own queries as well. So the way to do it is, I can save this as some other name. Let me call this as query 1. Okay, I'll call it as query 1. And maybe I'll update it in such a way that it does not have defects, it does not have anything other than subtask stories, something like that. Okay, I can update it to any extent. Let's say in status, I don't want to see done stories at all. Okay, I just don't like seeing done stories. I focus on the work that is already in progress or it is yet to be done. Okay, I've saved it. Okay, now in your board, if you configure your board, here you can select the query to be query 1. So you can change this and you want query 1 in its place, and then also it's okay. So now wait a minute, what query? Oh, it is only showing those stories which are done. Okay, now if I say that, okay, show me only to do stories, then it will show all the stories. I'm saving it, so now it is showing all the stories. Now if I say that some subtask is here, some subtask isn't done also. Now if I say that, you only show those subtasks which are to do or done, don't show in progress ones. So immediately this subtask will go away. Arey, done should be shown now. What is it doing? To do and done are to be shown. I don't know why is this query misbehaving like that, but let me search, save. See, to do and done are shown, in progress is not shown. Like this, you can play around with it. Then you can give various colors to these cards. You can see how long this card is in this status, how old is this card. So you can chase your team. You can say, oh my god, your cards are just not moving, your subtasks are just not moving, what are you doing? You can do all sort of micromanagement that you want to do. I strongly discourage you from being micromanagerial, but if you want, then JIRA gives you all the options to be micromanagerial. I'll tell you what, these are interesting things. You will love it. Micromanagers, you will love it. So go to your JIRA, this board settings, you can go to card color, or you can color the cards based on the assignee. Okay, now I'll go back. See, the person 1 will be showing red color, this 2 will be showing yellow color, person 3 in blue color, and so on and so forth. So see, their colors, their cards are now mentioned in various colors. Colors means only the first stripe is of that color. Okay, the whole card is not colored, card is always white. Okay, then you can also micromanage a bit. Let's see, card layout. So over here in the card layout, you can see a date of first response, active sprint, this, that. Okay, days in columns. So a visual indicator, each card represents the time spent in this column. So I'll set it to true. So now you should see what happens. See, it is today only, and that is why none of these cards is old. But otherwise, as and when your cards get aged, it will be showing some ... over here. So the number of dots is the number of days that this card has spent in this particular column. So your card is just not moving. Okay, this is the whole concept of it. So that is how you can, you can micromanage your team if you want. So I guess I have covered all the points about the story points, about how to create a backlog, how to create a sprint, and how to see your active sprint over here. Now when you're done after 10 days, you can always complete your sprint. After your sprint gets completed, now you will see some reports getting generated. So as of now, when the sprint is still going on, I'll go to reports and I'll see which report do you want to see. So there's a burn up chart, burn down chart, sprint report, so forth. So let me open all these. Okay, so burn down chart. So this is my burn down. Nothing has happened so far because there's day 1 only. So as and when I'll start burning hours, I'll see some data reflecting over here. Same thing with the sprint report also. Here it is burned down only, and there's burn up. Again, I don't have any data as such. So let me create some data. Okay, so what I'll do is first of all, let me go to board settings, and where is that query? Let me edit that query, and let me just say that you show all the statuses. Okay, show all the statuses, saving it. Okay, yeah, so all the subtasks are seen. Now let me just open these subtasks. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll copy, or okay, here there are the subtasks. Now I can just open them, 4-5 subtasks. And how will you burn hours into it? So as soon as you move it in progress, then you can always, at any time basically, you can always log hours. So you just go here, log hours, and you can say, okay, I've spent 1 day into this, so automatically the remaining time will become 0. And I'll say, otherwise I can set this time to something. I can say I've already spent 1 day, but I still need 1 hour more to complete it. Okay, so now see, 1 day is already logged, again 1 hour is remaining. This is what you can do. Okay, this is how you can log hours. So all your hours are shown under time tracking over here. Okay, similarly over here, your time tracking with no time logged, 4 hours remaining. So I can also just click here to open that time tracking, and I can just say 4 hours. Otherwise I can go here and I can say log work. Okay, both the things are the same. So let me just log some hours. This is already done, so I must have spent 2 hours into it. Okay, this task is okay, in progress, then I'll move it to done. Okay, fine. So these 3, okay, I'll move, okay, this is still in progress. Then this one, I'll move it to in progress. I'll say, okay, all the time is remaining, or maybe like, I've just spent 10 minutes on it. So 20 minutes is still going on, and this one I'll just say, okay, it is in to do, I haven't started anything. Okay, now come back to the board, and it is seeing like this. Okay, it is shown like this. So I'll go back to my board settings. I will go to estimation here, remaining time and time spent. Okay, now if I go back to the board, then here also it is showing hours. This is appearing now, hours, how many hours are remaining, this is also coming. And if I go to report, then also the report will be showing some hours burnt. So it is now showing. Now see, all these time estimates you are seeing in 1 day only. That's why the graph is appearing like this. Otherwise it will keep trickling down, as it is a burn down chart. So your logged hours, your remaining hours will keep on reducing as you keep logging the hours every day. Okay, after some time you will be marking these tasks as done. Let us say you must have burnt hours as well for them. Now it is telling you that, see, all the subtasks are done. So you want to mark this story as done. I'll say, okay, of course, update it. Now it is done. Okay, scratched out, it is done. Now if I go to the burn down chart, if I say story points, then also it is showing that, see, these many story points got burnt today itself. Okay, so this is how it is, this is how this burn down chart is appearing. Okay, so as per story points, you will see that 6 points work is done, or whatever points work is done. And if you want to see in terms of time, then also I have slowly I have logged hours in all the subtasks. So it was 18 hours work almost. So all of that I burned today itself. Ideally you will be burning it step by step. See, the thing is, I never created subtasks for these stories, and that is why they are not being calculated. So ideally you will have many more subtasks and many more hours to burn, and then you will be burning hours into it. Now there's one more thing that you can notice here, that some subtasks are in the done state and still some hours are remaining to be logged. So remaining hours is 1 hour. Here remaining hours is 20 minutes. Here it is 3 hours. What this means is, this developer or QA, whoever worked on this task, he has only moved the subtasks, but he hasn't logged hours into them. Okay, so you can ask the respective team member to be careful about logging the hours as well. Many a times people just move the tasks but they don't log the hours. So this is how you will be able to see it at a glance in your active sprints. Okay, so this is how you see a storyboard. Now I've been explaining about project 1, which is the detailed project, that is a company template. Now what about the team managed template? So I have created one more project. As you can see, this is proj 2, which is a team managed project. Okay, so in this, let me create a backlog and let me show it to you how it appears. So let me just create a story. Let me just create one story. Okay, and let me also start the sprint just like that. I'm just showing something to you. Now if I go to the board, I'm seeing that story. Okay, now in this story, I can go to this story once. I can go to this story and I can create some subtasks in it. So let's say subtask 1, subtask 2, subtask 3. Okay, and I can of course give some time into it. So for giving time, I need to first story point estimate, original estimate. I need this field. I have put this field in, and then I'm going back to that subtask. Yeah, so original estimate. So here if we can say it was a 5 hours work, and in the other 2 subtasks you can say it is like 1 day work, there's a 2 days work. Okay, and then you can log hours as well. Okay, fine. So what I'm trying to show is, over here in the board, you are not seeing anything. You are not seeing the subtasks. Even if you try to configure your board, even in configurations, you cannot say that there should be swim lane called story. So it's a very, very basic kind of a board that you will get. Okay, and here you will only see the stories. You can move the story to in progress or in done, but you cannot see the subtasks. That is the main problem over here. Okay, so it has these 3 childs. If you click on it, then you will see it, but normally in a board view you won't find it. And that is why I always say that team template should not be chosen if you want a detailed view. But if your team is only small team, you don't have much of an exposure, then it's okay, fine, go with the team view. Otherwise you should go with the company view. In company view, as I've shown you over here in the active sprint, you see such elaborate board. You see the subtasks for every story, the stories for which people haven't created subtasks, that also you can see over here. If the story is appearing in other issues and it does not have a subtask, you can directly say it in your DSU that, oh, these people, these stories, we haven't created any subtasks in these stories, so why don't we do that? So that was it. I think I've covered everything about the board in this video. In the next video, we will see what is JQL in detail, and we'll also see how to create these subtasks in bulk. Until next time, this is Amit signing off. Jai Shri Ram.